Welcome back to the Hope to Hope Conference. I am here in Las Vegas. I'm Kim White with the My Sexy Business team.
And I'm Coni Meyers with the Crystalline Moment Success Movement and Publishing.
We are so excited about this day and this conference.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
The whole thing has just been absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know, Kim knows some pretty amazing people. I know some pretty amazing people. We're so blessed.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can't, you know, the last conference we did on the leadership, she met some of my friends and I've met her friends, and it's just, I can't think of two women that could be more blessed than the people that we know.
Amen.
And I just, it's incredible.
And you know, here's the thing about that is we're neither one perfect.
No.
We've been through a lot of stuff.
Yes.
And still we're this blessed. I think that's the point of this whole conference.
There's always hope.
Always hope. Always.
There's always hope. And all you have to do is, who was it yesterday that said you keep putting one foot in front of the other? Was that Demetrius? Or no, that was
today.
Oh, that was today?
We need to give credit to who it goes to, but I don't remember.
Dave Hopkins. Is that who said it?
Nope.
No. Okay. Whoever it was, thank you.
That's funny.
Whoever it was. That is one of my favorite sayings, though. It's just, you know, if you just keep putting one foot in front of another, and things will show up that will take you to the next step.
Cheryl. I bet Cheryl said it.
No.
No.
Nope, it was a guy.
It
was one of our guys.
Let me look, because now it's going to bug me. King Charles.
Oh, King Charles. Okay.
I bet it was King Charles.
Whoever it was, thank you. But it is definitely, you know, and we talked about how getting stuck and how to move forward. And that's one of the main things I think probably you as well as I know with my clients and the people that I talk to. The biggest thing is being stuck and not knowing how to move forward. And really what it is, and it was touched on a couple of times today, it's about creating what it is you would want to do, finding your purpose.
Big one.
Finding your purpose, finding your why, and then just taking that first step. Because when you take that first step, the next step will show up.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever your belief system is, God or the universe or whatever it is, will guide you. Mm-hmm. And if you just listen to your instinct, you'll know the right direction to go.
Yes. And you know, our first little firecracker guest this morning, when she kicked it off this morning, she kind of said the same thing, that she had to jump out there and do some things that she wasn't sure she was ready for. Nayshan Tribute.
Absolutely.
Her and her husband Carlos own Manhattan on Broadway in Louisville, Kentucky. And they do event planning all over the world.
Yeah.
And I did say world.
Yes.
It wasn't just like they are just in one little local market. They do things there at their own event center, but they also travel and coordinate other events in other places. So she is incredible. She said something about the phone call when someone calls them. And I thought this was so cute. She wants the person calling to hear the smile from afar.
Oh, I think that's because when you train people to be on phones, because I did a lot of that when I had my own insurance offices, you can tell when somebody is on the phone and they're not smiling. So actually, I used to have everybody have a smiley face in front of them. This is way before computers, and they had to have this little smiley face that they had to look at as they were picking up the phone to start making phone calls.
I love it.
But she talked about customer service, and I made a comment because, as you know, I've been having these issues with communication companies. I won't mention which ones,
yes,
but there's more than one, but.
It's a pattern.
It's a pattern. And, communication companies do not know how to communicate. Yes. And she has this really incredible training that she does with all of her employees, where she teaches them how to have that smile through the phone, or how everybody is a part of. It's all marketing, even though you're really just providing customer service. You're marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved when she was talking about the what the tip that she gave was. Oh, now I can't find it.
She gave several.
I know. It was about. It doesn't matter whether you. I can't remember what it was. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. Even though I'm all jazzed, I'm like the brain has decided to take a senior moment.
I love it. I love it.
Anyway, she gave some really good information. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're planning a big corporate event or a small business event, or whether you're planning a birthday or
Know
a
your
wedding.
budget.
Know your budget. Know your budget first before you go to talk to somebody. And she talked about how, because I asked her, I said, well, if you've never done this before, how do you come up with a budget? Well, you sit down and you think about what it is you want to have.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you figure out, okay, I need napkins and candle holders and tablecloths and dishes and all these kinds of things, and take it from there. But then a really good point she made is that, and I have a tendency to be a little bit on the stingy side when it comes to what I think I can do and what I can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be one of those people that would say, well, I'm really good at, I've done events, nothing like what she's done, but I can plan my own event. I just want the venue. And when she made a comment, and actually you all also did too, about if you sit down and you start thinking about the amount of time that it takes you to do an event, also the costs involved when you're going out and you're buying your own cups and your own napkins
Yes.
and your own whatevers, the flowers. I mean, flowers are always expensive.
Yes.
By the time you get done, you probably spent more money than you would have spent if you let the event planner do it.
Yes.
I thought that was really valuable.
And if you spend more time doing it and less time working, you have less money to pay. I mean, it's all a vicious circle,
Exactly.
really, because you know, an event coordinator is exactly that. They coordinate the event, not just they have a cool place to be. They
Exactly.
actually take care of all of the details so that you can do what you're supposed to do. If you're hosting an event, or if you're the bride, or if you are, you know, whatever your role is, that's the part you should be concentrating on, not all the behind the scenes, making sure there's enough chicken.
Right. Well, and I loved her because she came from a very well-paying, she didn't say how much, but very well-paying corporate job that she'd been doing where she was very happy. But her dream was to have an event center that would make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And so some really good advice, whether you're stepping into a new business or whether you're just contemplating a new business. She said to start your marketing a year in advance.
And I love that.
I do too, because most people think, well, I got to have the business and then I can start doing the marketing. I actually I did an interview when I was at my retreat in Mexico of a businessman, and he actually did the same. He was in the wholesale auto parts business, and he talked about he worked for another auto parts store or wholesaler for 2 years. Well, he worked for several years, but 2 years prior to him leaving, he started his auto parts wholesale business, his own. So that then when it was time for him to leave, he already had customers. And that's exactly what Nishan said today. I mean, I think that's really brilliant advice.
Yes. And, you know, when you are prepared, you know, we talk about cycles all the time in the sexy business, that when you're prepared for your book to come out, and I'm not talking about when you have written your book, I'm talking about before, when you have prepared for leaving that corporate job and stepping into that business, when you have prepared for whatever the big thing is, it's going to be, you know, your Black Friday special,
right?
Whatever it is, when you've prepared in advance, it is so different. The outcome is so different than trying to throw something together at the last minute and say, oh yeah, I wrote a book. You know, there's a whole different plan involved.
Oh,
if you do it after the fact, and you always feel like you're behind and scrambling.
I have to tell you, thank God for the woman that helped me with my book when I was writing it, because I thought the toughest part was going to be the writing. No, that's the easy part. That's the super easy part, is writing the book.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting the book out there, getting it edited,
Mm-hmm.
getting it published. And then the big job of how do you market the book. That is an enormous. And I was so grateful for Marianne and her support when my first book came out. And I had a whole group of people. Tricia Andreasen helped me. There was a number of people that really, Tricia helped me with the planning. I mean, it takes a team. You cannot get a book and put it out. Well, you can if you want to put it up and just let it go and not worry about what the outcome is.
Yeah.
But no, it was really good advice that Noshawn gave.
Yes, and she said one other thing that I really appreciated. She said, maximize the opportunity. Whatever the opportunity is, maximize that opportunity. And coming from the business side, to have a coordinator who takes care of all the details in my side of the world, that is maximizing the opportunity.
Absolutely.
The opportunity to serve in the capacity. If I was doing an event there, which we probably will be.
We're already planning.
But if I was doing an event there, the maximizing of that opportunity to be there is to be the hostess.
Right.
Or the speaker, or the whatever it is, the title you want to put on, so that my job is working the room,
right,
with people and relationships, not serving chicken, not
worrying about whether or not the chicken is done,
not trying to make sure I've got enough pink napkins,
right,
not worrying about those things. And that in itself is a huge mind shift, because most people want to make their own table arrangements because they think they're going to save money. And you can save money if you don't have anything else to do.
Right.
But I have stuff to do. So.
Exactly. Well, and people don't understand. My granddaughter, they were on a very, very tight budget. My granddaughter got married. Actually, it's been almost 2 years now, and the amount of work that went into it. Now, fortunately, my daughter had the time to do a lot of the decorations, but the family chipped in and everybody chipped in to help. But it's nobody has a clue how much, unless they try to put an event together, how much work it really is. I mean, it's crazy.
And how much you can not have a good time.
Oh.
Because that's another thing, too. I've coordinated some big events in my past that I'm thankful I don't do that. I know how, but the thing is, I also know what comes with that responsibility. And I would rather be doing what I'm supposed to be doing than making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be. I kind of consider it a ballet where you've got to make sure all the ballerinas show up.
Yes.
And ballerinas tend to not show up in those situations. And so you've really got a lot of moving parts in an event. So anyway, Absolutely. We appreciate you, Noshawn.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding. And then next was Demetrius.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh. I don't even know where to start. He's a
human performance coach.
Yes, he's a human performance coach. And one of the very first things that he talked about that I had to stop and think about it for a minute. He said the debt ceiling directly relates to broken relationships. And if you think about that, and you think about this country and how the debt ceiling and the debt that this country owes is affecting all kinds of relationships, both internally as well as externally. I mean,
you can't not have brokenness, though, when you are dealing with something with that much pressure.
Right.
When you are, and we can act like we're removed from it because we're not directly responsible, but yet we are.
Exactly.
I mean, we are part of something. And so in a family situation, even if you have that looming over you, that's very detrimental to the relationships because you are worried.
Absolutely. You can't have a good relationship. It's like that black cloud is constantly over your head.
Well, and I don't think you can't, I don't think it's that you can't have a good relationship. It's that's what you have to focus on in order to get past it.
You're right.
There's a lot of work involved. I think it's possible, but I do think it's it's what most people don't choose. Most people choose to check out rather than to work really hard on their relationship so that they can get past those things. And, you know, that's very intuitive of him to talk about that.
Right, exactly. The other thing that I loved, he said, have courage to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as women, we probably ask for help a little more than most men do. But even as a woman, sometimes we are hesitant to ask for help. Sometimes we are feel like maybe we're asking a stupid question. But I know it's really super difficult for most men to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to ask for help. And he said one of the best ways to get help is to give. And I know that you and I both believe that you give in order to receive,
Mm-hmm.
and you give first. That's what this Hope to Hope conference is really all about, is giving and hoping that that all of you are taking something from each and every one of these speakers. I mean, I can't tell you how many thousands of dollars I have spent going to events that, to be honest with you, you're getting as much, if not more, information than you would ever receive at any one of those. And I'm not saying not to do that. I'm just saying these people are giving of their time,
Yes.
their knowledge, their souls, their hearts,
Yes.
to provide information, and they're doing it in order to give everybody hope.
Yes. And you know, just as a FYI about the Hope to Hope conference, we never charge the speakers to speak. We never pay the speakers to speak. We never charge the attendees to watch. We don't ask for anything except your time to come and support these people that are willing to support the attendees. We don't have an ulterior motive. We don't have a hidden agenda. We're out there. We're in business. Both of us are in business. We want to make money. But this conference is not the moneymaker.
No.
This conference is not for that purpose. This conference is absolutely to bless you and to create a platform that people can get unstuck and do it in a way that there's a lot of people that can't travel to conferences. We've paid $10,000 to get into a conference, and gotten good stuff out of it. But I don't think I got any more out of it than I do doing this Hope to Hope.
Right.
So I mean, and it's free.
Well, and I think, and I don't.
And that's what Demetrius. We need to go back. That's basically what Demetrius was talking about, was building those relationships. That's how we came up to that. I was thinking, wait, where did we get off here? But he did say, you know, that giving without expectations. That was his phrase he used, and I love that. We don't have expectations that you're going to come and do business with us.
Right.
We don't have those expectations. If you do, great. If you follow us, great. If you don't, still great. We just want to bless you. And I think that's what Demetrius was all about. He was talking about giving the value and giving of yourself and investing in people without expecting or having strings attached, and how amazing that is. What kind of relationships you can build when it's not transaction based.
Exactly. Well, you know, I think, and I'm sure you've experienced this too, that when you, like, I'll post something and I'll get a message from somebody saying, well, why didn't you ask for the sale? I said, well, there's no sale to ask for. Yeah. This is a gift.
Yes.
This is a gift of what I can give. And I say this all the time: as long as you're giving and you're doing it with your heart and your soul, the money will show up when it's supposed to show up.
Yes. And you know, we always go through ebb and flow in business. This is something that's it is just what it is. People like to think that you never go through hard times once you get to a certain level in business. But I'm here to tell you, the hard times come with a lot more zeros. Like, exactly. you get to a certain level, and if you have a hard time again, it is painful. But it happens all the time, and it doesn't even have to happen for reasons that you've made bad choices. Sometimes it is bad choices.
Well, look at like companies like Blockbuster. They had a great model that worked for a while, but then the technology passed them by. And even Apple has had a few downturns recently, and Microsoft. You look at IBM. IBM used to lead the pack many years ago. Yeah. So you have to keep reinventing yourself. And when you reinvent yourself, it's going to cost money in more ways than one.
Yes.
So I think understanding that there are ebbs and flows, and that it's not always going to be this solid uphill trail.
Yeah, that is funny. And
yeah.
One last thing on Demetrius that I do want to say is he has a phrase too that he believes in being radically transparent, and that is one of the reasons that I admire him and think that he is so for real. Is that he lives that. He lives that radical transparency. We would like to sit up here and say, we've never been through anything, and we just have, we wake up in the morning and it just smells like roses, and, we'd like to say that, but not really, because it wouldn't be true.
Absolutely. Well, let's just take this morning, for example. So when Kim decided to do this, she's not good at time zones
at all.
And so this morning, when she was planning these retreats, she forgot to take into consideration that she was going to be in Las Vegas, which is Pacific time, which is 2 hours earlier. So she planned this nice conference, and it was going to start at 9:00, which is a really good hour for everybody. But then she comes here and we're like, okay, it's going to be 7:00 in the morning.
Which means 4:00 to get up.
You have to get up. And so we come out and we're doing these from my she shed, which is a lovely spot and a great spot to be doing them from in my real little gym. But when we came out here yesterday morning and this morning, we're out here shivering to death because we had to get a little heater. We've got blankets on, and we still have blankets on because it's cool here right now
in Vegas. Can you even believe it? I just can't.
So that's being radically transparent.
Radically transparent. And I have princess problems. I am radically transparent, and I have princess problems. Time zones is one of them. But Demetrius' office was an absolute delight, and I can't wait to see what else we can do.
I think one of the things, I'm totally into the whole all the information that they're coming out now with how mindfulness changes your brain and all of that. And the one thing I did not know, he talks about the amygdala is a part of the brain close to the hippocampus, which is one of the things I talk about. And that's where fear comes from. And so I'm going to be doing some research on how we can change the amygdala. And he made a point, I'm not really sure how it all fits together, but he talked about how we can create new neurons in our brain that will translate. And what did he say?
Neurotransmitters? Is that neurotransmitters?
No, it's not neurotransmitters, but brand new neurons in our brains that will change our thinking process and our fears. So I'm going to be doing a little research about that because I'm fascinated by this whole thing about how we can physically change our brain by doing something as simple as being still or breathing. And this research has proven that you actually can grow the gray matter of your brain by doing these things. And these are things that he was talking and referring to.
And when she figures all that out, she'll let me know what I just need to do. Because I won't be doing research on that. That's not a princess thing. But he's very versed. And I think that's the thing is Miss Coni and Demetrius are very versed in the biology of the changes and the biology of the thinking and that stuff. I'm the one that I just want to know what I need to do different. I am the simple version of the two of them.
I think I've told you this many times that when we first started talking and I was talking about John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, and she'd be talking about something and I go, oh well, that's this law, and oh that's what. She didn't know what law it was. She was just naturally doing it. And I think she does a lot of that. She doesn't realize that there's actually science and stuff behind it.
Hey, I'm a sciencey princess.
There you go.
I just don't know it. Well, our third speaker today was Rich Hopkins. And I'm telling you what, he was off the chain as always. I have heard him live and in person, and he just brings it. He's so humble, but yet I'm telling you, he can make you laugh, and then you're thinking, oh, wait a minute, I got to change that. And I love his win anyway. His whole thing is, it doesn't matter what it is that's going on, choose to win. Whatever the situation, whatever's going on in your life, even when it feels like there's no way to win anyway.
I love when he was talking about he was born with a leg that was smaller than one leg was smaller than the other, and at some point, I don't know how old he was, but at some point he had to have he thought he was going to be getting a brace on his leg because he couldn't stand up. And another gentleman who was an amputee came in and was telling him how freeing it was, because one of the options instead of having a brace was to have his leg amputated, and he didn't want to do that, so he was going to have the brace. And the guy came in and told him how freeing it was and how much more flexibility you have. And I think that's a real metaphor. I think that's a real metaphor. Sometimes we have to cut things out of our lives, let them go, so that we can be more freeing. And I'm sure I haven't heard him speak, but I'm sure he talks about that in his keynote speeches that he does. And he is a coach for speakers.
Yes, and he helped me. I mean, that's one of the things that I'm a living testimony for him, because he helped me with changing up one little thing that was a big thing to me, but I mean, it was this small thing that I needed to change that has impacted, I'm not sure what the number is, but I think we're well over 100,000 people this year that I've spoken in front of, or two, and that's pretty amazing in itself, that what he told me, I guess 2 years ago, has changed something I've done for all this time, and that's how many lives are impacted by what he helped me change. So if you're a speaker, you definitely need to get connected with him. I like he said, to speak for others, not yourself. The reason that you tell a story is to help other people. It's not to talk at people.
Yeah, not to be talking about yourself. But the audience wants to know what they can get out of it. What is it for them?
Yes. And he asked a question, and I hope I quote it right, because I was writing fast. Princesses don't write as fast as they should. Are you who you always wanted to be, or are you what the world has let you become?
I love that.
Man,
that's
chew
huge.
on that for a minute.
Yeah. I didn't have it quite right. Thank you.
That is a huge thing. Like, are we a victim of our life, or are we a victor of, this lifetime? I think there's a huge difference, but it's the trajectory. It's a little choice back in the back that causes this huge division.
And we talked with the next guest after this, but it's really all about, we can have a choice. We can have a choice to either live our life by our design, or we're going to live by default. And that's what he's talking about, that our default life is what happens to us, rather than us creating the life that we would love to live. And being able to identify that, because when you are living the life that the world has helped you to become, you're not living your life.
You're not living your life.
You're not living your life at all.
Yeah.
And you're not living your life's purpose. And that's when everything goes haywire.
Yeah.
When you can focus in on what you really want to do, what that vision, I'm a vision girl, what that vision is, and step into it, then things happen, and it's proven over. And many of our guests talked about it.
Yes.
Maybe not in the same terms I do, but they talked about, if you are living the life that you're supposed to be living and doing the things that you're put on this earth to do, then your life is going to go according to plan.
Yes.
If you don't, forget it.
Yeah. And Joe Moffat was going to be on, and he's in the middle of a move. He's moving from San Diego to Idaho, so he's a little busy. But he has something just to represent him well here too. He has a whole program on life by design. Instead of letting life happen to you, you design your life, and then it comes to you in that way. And I think that all of these speakers are encouraging so many people because of that part.
Right.
you know, you don't have to let life happen to you. You don't have to. But stuff happens. I mean,
well, and the important point of that is stuff happens to try and redirect you to get back on track. When stuff is happening to you, it is God or the universe telling you you're off track. You need to get back on track. And sometimes it's something as drastic, like for me, it was my husband passing away. It was a redirection of what I was doing. And so sometimes it can be something major. Sometimes it's just a decision that we made that really wasn't in our best interest, and we need to correct that path.
And I think, you know, just to clarify, I think it's not that God causes people to die to teach us a lesson or anything like that.
No.
I know what you mean. I just want to make sure they do.
Yeah.
But I do think in every one of those situations, every time we have something happen, I think that comes with that opportunity. You are the founder of Crystalline Moments, which is a moment of clarity. And
there's always opportunity.
That opportunity comes because we have to stop for a minute and go, oh,
yes,
okay, we have this new thing we have to figure out. And, you know, when you do stop and figure it out, you end up on the path you should have been on, or you can be on, or, you know, it just is amazing what God does to lead us down a path.
Absolutely.
Our next one.
Oh, gosh. I say, oh, gosh, and I go, oh, man, every one of them is just like, there's not enough oh, goshes, or this person is amazing.
I know.
I need to come up with new adjectives, I think.
Well, everybody's amazing and awesome sauce in my world. Gary Foote, I tell you what, I met Gary, and I've never been able to get over it. I have thought about him and told other people about him because he is the real deal. And he's transparent. Him and Demetrius, I don't know if Gary, if you and Demetrius are listening, I'm telling you, I want to facilitate you two getting together, because you all are bookends on being transparent and radical and being men, not just being people, but you both are masculine men of men who are transparent. And that to me, I mean, that is a super sexy trait in both of you all.
Amen.
Because the world needs you. The world needs you to show up and to be that amazing. We've got we've got lists of notes. We're trying to be good and not keep you all night and repeat everything they said. But Gary said he's a truth seeker, and he was telling us about what hope meant. And I thought, how incredible. He comes on the conference and he defines what we're trying to tell you. And it's hope is a certain thing. You just don't know how it will come about.
I love that.
Hope is something we're trying to instill in you, that vision you have or that dream you have, you might not know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
It's not our job to know how.
But we think
we need to know.
We think we need to know all the details, when really what we need to do is rest in the fact that was implanted in us.
Exactly.
And we are just walking it out. So that is a true definition of hope, that it's going to happen. It's not something that you wish or, well, it might. Hope is not that. No. Hope is for certain.
It's already here. It just has to play itself out. I love the conversation we had about men and the growth and where we are today in our society today with women have been empowered and are being empowered and need to continue to,
and should be. Yes.
We're not there yet, but at the same time, you don't want to do that and emasculate the men. But there's a lot of growth, I believe, that it needs to be done with men, and I think that there's not enough voice out there.
Yes.
And what Gary's work that he's doing is just terribly important. I think all of this stuff that's just happened in the last couple of months with all the sexual harassment and all that stuff, having more people like Gary have this conversation, because he totally understands the empowerment of women at the
Yes.
same
And
time,
agrees with it.
and agrees with it. And but yet at the same time, you want to take men and show them. The good news is it is happening. There's more men now that are stay-at-home dads, and I love. There's one commercial on TV that shows all these dads with their kids at the park, and it's just hilarious. And it just grows my heart when I see something like that.
Yeah.
And just seeing men hugging one another, where a generation ago that didn't happen.
Yes.
But there's so much more work that be done. So
Yes.
Gary puts on classes. He does things for high schoolers. He does things for adult men and women. It's not just exclusively men. But
I like the way he put the way that life though works. Is life happens for me instead of to me.
Right.
Whatever it is, even if it's bad, even if it's something we see as bad, it happens for me, not to me.
Exactly.
What a great attitude. And I just want to say this because this is something that's on my heart about this. When you're talking about being prejudiced, and this is a huge a huge hot spot. I'll just tell you.
Big conversation.
I'm walking out on a limb here, but here's the thing. When prejudice requires you to be mean to someone else in order to have your rights acknowledged, that's not right.
No.
And he is not prejudiced toward women at all.
No.
He believes in empowering women, but it also, on the other side of the coin, is empowering men.
Oh, I think
that's the cool part.
I think it's true that as you empower women, as long as men are understanding how it empowers them as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think it's just a one-way street. I think as we all become empowered,
mm-hmm.
and we can then empower our children to be better individuals as a whole.
Well, he said.
Oh, I love this. Go ahead.
I love the end of what he said was he said, when you raise the water, all the boats rise.
Yeah, isn't that right?
That's what is super sexy and super right about what he's teaching. Not that this group of people should be less than. They should stay over here in the swamp.
Right. Yeah.
That when you raise the water, everybody wins. Everybody has their boat go up, and empowering women and empowering men. And it's okay that we're different. It's okay that we're not the same. We can have equal opportunity, but it doesn't mean we have to be a boy or they have to be a girl to walk in those things. So I think that is just very powerful stuff that he's talking about.
We need to be able to clone him everywhere.
Yes. Yes. Well, and our next guest, Deborah Raspberry, we feel terrible. We don't know what happened, but she sent me a message that she had a family emergency. And so everybody that's listening, I just ask that you pray for her and her family. She's a very incredible, dynamic woman, and we don't know. We just don't know, but
our prayers go out to her and her family for sure.
Yes.
And we'll catch her next time.
Yes. And then there is Dr. Barb.
Oh,
Barbara.
Lord.
And I hope I'm even saying it right. Oxis. She is.
When she started telling us, I had not ever. As a matter of fact, I looked her up just before you were talking to her because she wouldn't tell me anything about her. And so I was looking her up, and I'm thinking, oh, this looks like a very interesting woman, but I didn't really know her story. There was nothing about it when I looked her up. And when she started telling me her story, I was just in total awe that she's even still standing.
Yes.
I mean, everything she has been through, oh my gosh. There are very few people out there that would be able to walk through that without crumbling.
Her tenacity is sexy. I'm telling you, this girl, she's got some want to. She's got some serious determination, and
Yeah.
It's so amazing because every time she would talk about something that was bad in her life, she also gave the other side of where, okay, this, and I'm just going to use this for example. Dr. Barb, if I don't get this right, you can comment and correct me. But she has a child who's got Down syndrome. That was her firstborn.
She was 17.
And she doesn't know what to do with him, so she goes to school, medical school.
Medical school. Yeah.
And then
that's what I would do.
And then
I'd be like, ah!
And then she keeps going. Like she's actually moved all the way up to where, you know, through the course of all of these things going on in her life, and I think what a plan God has for her, because he says here, this is going to be your reaction. I know you. I know how you're going to do. So here's the thing I'm going to do, and then you're going to react in this way. She went on to become a doctor.
She becomes a doctor. She's in an abusive relationship, and she has to write her thesis. And to celebrate her, she gets her doctorate, and her thesis comes through, and she gets her doctorate on her 40th birthday.
On her 40th birthday.
And then she has a child. I've got it in here, 1 pound. I forget how many.
5 ounces.
1 pound. She has a premature baby. 1 pound, 5 ounces, and the baby lives
in NICU for 7 months. And then she takes this precious baby girl home, and she has something happen at 9 months, and she and a neighbor have to do CPR until they can get this baby taken care of again. And then at 2, she has another episode, and they have to keep her alive with CPR. And so she has done all of these things. And then the most blessing, I think, tonight on her call was that we got to meet all of them.
Oh my God, and they are adorable.
All 3 of
just adorable.
Her babies came on so that we could see them and say hi to them. And what a blessing that is, because, you know, here's the thing about Hope to Hope. I don't want anybody coming on and watching Hope to Hope and thinking that we're somewhere up here on this pedestal. We got our lives all together. We don't have a personal life. We just do business, or, you know, that's not what it is. We all have personal lives. We all have, you know, business, whether we work at a job or we own a company. We all have those things going on in our life. Don't hide those things.
No.
If you've got babies, I mean, flaunt what you got. And I think that she's awesome because she does.
And she's so authentic about it. And you're right. What I really loved about it is she would talk about this horrible thing that was happening. Mm-hmm. And then she would turn around and say, well, I got my next degree. I mean, she started out just as a practical nurse. That was her first degree. And she kept going through the ranks while all this stuff was going on, while she's dealing with an autistic child. I mean,
Down syndrome.
Or, I'm sorry, Down syndrome.
Yes.
Child. And it's just an incredible. I mean, I'm in total awe of this woman. Just total awe.
And one of the things that she said that brings up a point with every last one of us, and that is when we do something that we think we shouldn't have done, we all get this opinion of ourselves that we should have known better. We should have known that this situation wasn't a good situation. We should have known the abuse was going to happen. We should have known this thing. I'm here to tell you that it's not the case, because I don't know anybody who has been in that situation that set out and wrote out a goal sheet. I'm going to go find somebody who's going to be mean to me.
Right. No.
I'm going to go and do this so that somebody hurts me. That is not what happens. And us giving ourselves a break in that situation and saying, you know, because I've asked Dr. Barb this, would you be as hard on me if I had done the same thing? And she said, absolutely not.
No.
So why are you being so hard on my friend? Why are you being hard on you? So that self-talk is one of the biggest things that I press, that you can't be doing that. You can't talk ugly. If somebody came in here and talked ugly about Miss Coni, they'd have to deal with this princess.
And vice versa.
Because that's not okay.
No.
But that's what we do to ourselves.
Exactly.
We talk and how are we worthy for this? And, several of the speakers touched on the fact that they didn't feel worthy, or they didn't feel accepted, or they didn't feel a part of, or just different things. And, we all
I'm sure there is not a human on this planet that at some point in time has that little doubt of, am I good enough?
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, it's probably less than others. But nonetheless, there's always these moments where you say, am I really good enough to do this?
Yeah.
But she's proof. I mean, if this woman can do it, I tell you what, if this woman can do it with everything that she's had going against her, anybody, there's no excuses.
Yes.
None.
And we're just going to be really real and medically transparent. That's Miss C barking.
Yeah, that's my little dog.
She has been out here for both days under our feet next to the heater with her little blanket on and kept us company. So we are not going to be upset that she's barking on live, video. So we're just acknowledging that out loud.
Right, exactly. Because she's been a sweetheart. She really has.
Now, tomorrow, I do want to let you know that tomorrow I've got to get my list. Because everybody is so amazing, I get confused and forget. But tomorrow, we will have Katrina Loco, we will have Charlie Cale, Irina Hall, Christiana Capra, Michelle O'Neill, and Ada Picone, all in one day. I'm just in awe of the awesome people that are coming to be with us and to bless you. I want to remind you all of that. It's to bless you. These people are taking out of their times and their busy schedules to come and be a blessing and share and spread hope. So thank you to all the speakers. Thank you to everyone listening.
Everyone. What an incredible 2 days it's been.
Yes. And we have 2 more.
And we have 2 more.
So thank you all. We are going to let you go because we are all excited about, just this day, wrapping up this day. But we are so appreciative of each of you, and we love each of you. And if you have any questions, please message. If you want to get connected to anyone and you didn't find how to get connected to them, message us. We're open. We're approachable. We have access for this 4-day conference. You have access. Use it while you can.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
You have any last words?
No, I'm just in awe of everybody, and I hope that everybody out there will take full advantage of the knowledge and the heartfelt sharing that's going on here. This is really a special time. So thank you so much for joining us. We love you, and we look forward to having you come back tomorrow.
Yes, this is the Hope to Hope Conference. I'm Kim White with the My Sexy Business team.
And I'm Coni Meyers with Crystal A. Moment Success Movement and Publishing.
And we will see you in the morning at 9 Central, 7 Pacific, and 10 Eastern. I love you guys.